So, Coach, looking back on last weekend, second of back-to-back weeks at Indiana, definitely got a lot of really strong performances from some of your athletes. Can you just, give me your overall thoughts and impressions on the weekend?
I was surprised and happy with the performances across the board to maintain the progression and constantly getting better in terms of times is not always the case. We're looking to change things slightly, which could have a negative impact on the overall mark. But on the opposite side of things, it can make the execution of the race or the event better. And with the case this past weekend, the athletes made improvements, and then they immediately gained the impact or the improvement and the benefit from those changes. And so to keep that going into the future, now that's always the challenge. But overall, I'm not often impressed. I was impressed because it was one of the toughest weeks of training, and so the expectations of improvements go down, and they were able to continue to improve all the way through the meet and capped it off with a great 4x4 win.
Yeah, you mentioned the 4x4. That's the next thing I wanted to hit on. They had maybe the best performance of the weekend, the women's 4x400 team, taking first in a tough heat that had, teams from Indiana, Wisconsin. Just sort of talk about that team a little bit and how their performance went so well.
I'll kind of start at the end after we had won. It was I was emotional and I mean excited, not crying or anything, but a coach from a different school kind of rolled his eyes at me, and that made me feel even more, I guess, stoked about the performance that we just had. I was excited afterwards because I know what we did the whole entire week. I was able to see what Indiana did in the competition the week prior, and we build off of that. And they kind of took a down week, but to go into a Power 5 school and to beat them in a 4x4 always feels good. As a former Big Ten athlete, that was a goal of mine since last year when we went there and got second to them. And so to take out both them and Wisconsin is huge. It's huge momentum for our girls, and the entire team saw that. And that's what's special about that relay at the end of the meet is that you could have a tough meet. You can have people that had poor performances, but at the end of the day, they can hang their hat on the 4x4. And so any good team has a good 4x4. And so as we're building this program here, the opposite is true too. So if you have a good 4x4, you're a good team, or at least you're headed in that direction.
And now looking forward, you'll be at Notre Dame this weekend. Again, there's going to be a lot of tough teams there. You're going to see a lot of MAC schools as well as some really strong, power conference teams. What's your outlook sort of on this weekend? What are you looking to see really from the team?
We're going because of that new competition. We've seen relatively the same competition with the two Indiana meets. Seeing the new competition, I want the athletes to compete. We started to transition into a new phase this week of training, and that creates a little bit more stress to the athletes. And then you add on the fact that we're in the first week of classes, so we're adding new routines into things. So realistically, we're not looking for huge PRs or anything, unless it's just a byproduct of them going out there and beating their competition. And so really we want to keep it simple for them, just to execute your race and beat the person next to you. It's great that we're going to have the MAC schools there, because then it'll give them an idea where they stand in our conference. The rankings don't necessarily reflect that when we compete at different facilities against different competition. Olivia Bechtel's ranked high, but it doesn't mean anything until the MAC meet.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so Calliope, looking back at last weekend at Indiana, you individually had some really good performances. You set a personal record in the 600. You're also part of that relay team that took first. Mm-hmm. Can you just talk a little bit about, what's working for you, maybe even the team as a whole?
Yeah.
That seems to be clicking well.
Yeah, I ran the 600 last weekend. That felt pretty good. It didn't hurt as bad as I thought, and hopefully I get to run it again. I want to improve my time even more. This weekend some of us are going to the Mayo Invitational meet. It's going to be a high competition meet, so we're excited about it. We want to run good times in the 400. I think we are ready for some new PRs, and hopefully a school record on the 4x4 as well.
Yeah, and we were talking to Coach a little bit about the training the last couple weeks, how it's sort of ramped up. Can you maybe just speak about, what the training has looked like on your guys' end going into last week and going into now, since we're kind of, in the heart of the season?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been doing some hard workouts with fast race pace workouts with a short recovery, so we're getting a little fatigue during training, but that's good for us. It's going to make us stronger and faster, hopefully, and we're excited to see how we do this weekend.
Yeah, and now looking forward to this weekend. You guys will be seeing a lot of good competition. There will be a lot of MAC schools there that you'll see later on down the road. Is this a weekend that you think for you where you'll sort of maybe go all out and push yourself the most, or maybe just kind of, hang back, get this next race under your belt, and just keep on moving throughout the season?
I think we're going to push out more this weekend and then maybe take a rest the weekend after or the weekend before MAC so that we can be more fresh at the MAC championship. We want to run good times this weekend because I think we're more prepared for this week.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.